Good morning and welcome back to another episode. If you're a first-time joiner, thanks for coming and taking a look. If you're a returner, thanks for coming back. So today, we're going to talk about my 3 favorite tents, why I carry them, what their purposes really are, and when I carry them for camping or overlanding or something else. Along with going over the tents, I'm going to go over some of their features. I'm probably going to refer you to some other YouTube channels that go over these tents in extensive detail, which I'm only going to go over the basics as to why I chose the tents. Along with that, we're going to be cooking a 15th century historic meal that was brought to the United States, what is now the United States, and is one of our favorite meals, at least for most of us. So stick around and we'll get into it. This is the Nature Hike Village 6.0. It is a true 4-person tent. It is also an easy setup. The skeleton on the inside, the inner is attached. This is a double wall tent, meaning there's an inside and a cover. And the silver on the back side, it also has blackout technology. This is a 4th season tent, meaning that it can be used all 4 seasons. It does not, however, have a port for a stovepipe, so you would need something like a buddy heater, which is what I carry when I use this tent. And it's got windows on all sides. We'll get into the inside and how large this thing really is. The reason I use this tent is for wintertime camping, or if I'm not going alone. I don't necessarily use this tent for overlanding. This tent weighs 30 pounds. And if you're overlanding in a side-by-side, 2 things are on your disadvantage list. And that is amount of weight that you can carry and amount of things that you can carry. And this takes up a lot of room. So I wouldn't overland with this tent, but certainly base camping or winter camping, it's great. This awning, I actually don't have the second piece. There is a second awning that zips on right here and comes out even further. I don't need it, so I don't pack it. This pulls down and zips and covers this whole area, so you've got the blackout technology, and it blocks out 99% of sunlight. And I'll zip down all the windows because it has all the blackout is on the cover. This doesn't sweat really bad during the winter when you put a heater inside of it, because it's got plenty of ventilation. There's 2 large vents up in the top. You can use this during summertime when it's pretty hot out. All of the windows, when they unzip, plus you've got the half door, and it is just large. So I'm going to unzip the windows, get some light inside, and show you how large this really is. All right, so there you go. Just going to move the camera around here real quick so you can see all the zippers, all of the windows zip down on the outside and Velcro. You've got a large window on one side. There's 4 large windows, and they all zip down. The opening to this thing is huge. So once you get inside, so I've just kind of got this temporarily set up, but I've got enough room for my G2 cot, a table, a chair, and that's if it's just me. All of the windows have their own little pocket where they just sit down in, and they also zip up. You've got a pocket here and a pocket there. You've got hangers up on top. You can string lights up. And this thing is absolutely for just 2 people. This thing is just absolutely a palace. Now, the reason I would set up the table is because I can set up my Alcon cook set inside if it's cold out. I don't have to go out and start a fire. I can cook right inside here and be completely comfortable. It's got a snow skirt that goes all the way around. This whole thing zips down, buttons up. It's got extra tie downs here. It sets up in probably 10 minutes. It's absolutely awesome to bring camping with you. So that would be my suggestion, and the reason I would carry it. I would carry it for camping in one spot. I wouldn't use it for overlanding. I'd use it for more than one person. I would use this in the summer. I would use it in the winter. So that is the Nature Hike Village 6.0 4-person tent. And it is truly a 4-person tent. Normally, tents, when they advertise the tent being a 4-person tent, they really mean it's only good for 2, not the Nature Hike series. The next tent that I've got is the fire hiking hot tent. Now, this is a single wall construction, so it doesn't have an inner and an outer. It does, however, have extra storage back here. So right inside you've got storage. It is also where you have a stove jack to put. You've got extra tie downs over here to pull everything out if you so chose. It's got the awning, which zips down. If you collapse this, you can actually enter the tent from either the left or the right. Now, this is a 2-person tent, and I use this one for overlanding. It only weighs 5 pounds. I use it primarily during the spring and summer. It's got a large net up in the front for airflow. Each side unzips. You've got a screen. So I've got my Hill Peak air mattress, which is actually really good during the winter too. I've also set the cot up in here. You've got your storage right there. Should I need, in inclement weather, should I need to cook inside this tent, I can do so in there, again, using the Alcon cook set that I've got. Or if I collapse this down and zip it down and pull it out, I also have room to cook in there. It sets up with 2 poles, one on this side, one on the other side, or if you don't want to carry these poles, you can actually set it up using this and run a line across between two trees, and you don't need to carry those poles. You've got a vent on the back side. It does not have a snow skirt, but it does have these wind screens right here that you can pull out and stake down. I choose not to bring extra spikes to put that stuff in the ground. I'll use sticks if I have to. But this is my absolute favorite tent for overlanding and summertime camping. Spring, summertime, early fall. That is my favorite tent to do that with. And next, we have, it's a Katoma USGI one person combat tent. Now, you can pick these up at an Army Navy surplus, and I primarily use this tent for search and rescue. It's a double wall construction, so it has an outer and an inner. It weighs 5 pounds. It is really truly big enough for one person, but you do have enough room for gear outside. You've got these little tie downs right here, so if it were during the winter time, you could set up a fire like that, move it in a little bit closer, lift these up, and get that heat coming in and over the tent. So all of this will fold back, and show you the inside. Just unstake these and pull it back. So it's got a zipper right here. The skeleton is right here on the inside. And inside, I've got my another air mattress and a tent. So you could cook inside this if you pull it out and up. You could set up a little cook pot set if you wanted to. So cost. I bought this on Amazon for, I believe, $230. The fire hiking tent was $150, and the United States military gave that to me for free. So there you go. There's my 3 tents and when I carry them and why. That combat tent stays with me. That is the tent that I bring when I'm on a day trip. And I actually did a video a little while back where I showed what I carry in my Alice pack that goes in my machine and stays with me when I'm just on a day trip by myself, the unexpected camping trip. So check that out. It's basically my stay put bag. So that's the tents. But what are we having for lunch? Well, we are having Bokenade, which is French for beef stew, except we're not having beef stew. We're having venison and rabbit stew. So stick around and let me show you how that's made, because you're going to love this recipe. It's something that, now I am going to make a larger batch today, but it is something that you could absolutely carry on the trail and make at a campsite. You think about it, in the 15th century, everybody was camping every day. So that's what we're going to do. Stick with me and we'll get this thing started. Here's what we've got. We've got our Corporal's Corner skillet. We've got a large pot. I am making a full batch of this. You can cut all of this down so that it is more manageable on the trail, but it's super quick and easy to make. We've got venison. Now, in the original recipe, they would have wanted you to put this in water, boil it until the meat fell off the bone. We aren't going to do that. There's several different variations of this, and then we've got, this is 1 pound of venison and about a half a pound of rabbit. We've got our vegetables, which are our carrots, our potatoes, our celery, mushroom. We have our onion and our garlic in here. We've got breadcrumbs. We've got the rest of the seasonings that are in here: salt, pepper, thyme. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to brown our venison. We've got our Camping Moon grill set up. The only thing we're going to use is the coals. We've got our wooden spatula. We've got olive oil. So we're going to put that in there. Now, the reason we floured these is because we're making a stew, not a soup. We're going to do our venison first because it takes the longest, and really all you're doing is just getting them to a golden brown. All right, so our venison is browned. Now, you don't have to cook it. I mean, you just want it browned. If there's still some flour on there, that's perfectly okay, because all the flour is going to do is add as a thickening agent. So we're going to take our venison off. We're going to put it in our pot. And we're going to take our rabbit. After your rabbit is nice and brown, you're going to remove it. You're going to throw it in the pot. I'll put the entire recipe down below so that you can make this either stovetop or however you want to make it over a campfire. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our aromatics, which would be our onion and our garlic. We're going to add in some more oil. Unfortunately, you guys can't get this skillet from Corporal's Corner anymore because he stopped making them. But this is the Corporal's Corner big boy skillet. I would highly suggest, if you kind of like the survival stuff, to go to Corporal's Corner on YouTube and check him out. Sean is very knowledgeable, prior Marine, and he does some pretty cool stuff, and he makes some really good stuff. This thing is totally, after you season this thing, it is totally non-stick. I can't get over how well this thing works. So we're going to let that sit there until the onion is translucent. Usually about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your heat. A little more history on this dish. It began in the earliest recordings in the 1500s in England, but it was also made in Scotland. It was made in France, and in England, this is known as hunter's stew. This recipe originated at the Walnut Tree Inn in Shropshire, England. This was a meal that was served to and by peasants, nobility, and in taverns all over. The difference between the three of them was the nobility could afford the spices that went into the stew. Historically, this is also what is known as a perpetual stew, meaning it was a perpetual stew. This recipe is actually the longest running perpetual stew in history. So when it started in the 15th century, it was the same stew, meaning all they did was replenish what was taken out. So you might have beef in it one day, you might have stag in it the next, you might have squirrel in it, rabbit, the seasonings, the water, all of that stuff would just keep getting replenished, but it never came off the fire. And it ran from the 15th century all the way until the German occupation in World War II, because they ran out of ingredients to put back in it. Think about that for a minute. Okay, so we're done with our onion and garlic. That is going to get put right inside there. And that is the last thing that we are going to need the pan for. So we're going to set that aside. That's going to go over the fire. The next thing we're going to need are our vegetables. We're going to pour in all of our vegetables. Next, we need water. And we're just going to cover the top of it with the water. We're going to let it sit there, and we're going to wait until it comes to a boil. So we're going to need extra heat. Once it comes to a boil, we will put in our breadcrumbs and the rest of our seasonings and wait. Okay, now we've got a nice little simmer going. We're going to take our breadcrumbs and we're going to put those in. And really, that's 4 slices of bread that I left out for 24 hours to get stale. And we're going to add our seasonings in. So the recipe that we're making would have actually been served to a nobility, and this recipe would have actually originated by a nobleman's master chef. We're going to give that a stir. The other thing they used to use is egg yolk for thickening. And I chose kind of a combination of both the nobleman's recipe and the peasant's recipe, using breadcrumbs and potatoes, the starches in it, and also with the flour batter on the meats. And so we'll just let this go for a little while, stir it occasionally, and check back. I've actually got a friend of mine, my best friend, coming out here, and he'll be able to give you his honest opinion of how it tastes. Too bad taste division hasn't been invented yet. All right, peoples, eat is done. That thickened up real. Oh, that's nice and thick. And my best friend Beach Bum is now here, so we are going to eat. And actually, just so you guys get a real world reaction, and I'm not lying, because I got no idea how this is going to taste, but we going to give him the first plate.
Oh, Lord.
There you go.
Get a facial with it. Good. Real good. Yep.
Well, there you go.
Real good.
It's real good. And I made a big batch of it. So you can make it at home like that, or you can narrow down your
Oh, yeah.
free blooper. We got us some bread. All right, let's see how the nobleman's ate. I want to get a piece of that venison in there.
Yeah.
So if this is how they ate in the 15th century, they weren't like,
They weren't starving.
they weren't starving.
No.
All right, I'll admit something. That's probably the best fucking stew I've ever had.
Needs a little bit of salt for me, but
Well, that's because you empty out the salt shaker
do.
every time.
I do. High blood pressure and tight pants, baby. That's the way I live. Yeah, that's real good.
That's been
Was that chicken in there too, or
that rabbit.
rabbit? Ooh.
Rabbit venison hunter's stew. All right, folks. I am all packed up. Fire is out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. A little bit of history anyway. So we'll see you next time. Ride safe. Be well. Deuces.